President Trump fulfilling another campaign promise, he says, to make America safe again by signing 2 new executive orders to strengthen America's law enforcement agencies. And to break down those new orders, we're joined by former head of the Chicago PD and retired FBI special agent in charge, Jody Weeks. Good morning to you, sir. Great to see you.
Good morning.
Many law enforcement agencies obviously applauding these efforts. Trump signed those orders last week. A big change from the previous administration. One major point, Jody, seems to offer more legal protections to officers. Tell me more about that.
That's a big deal, Jan. All too often officers face legal challenges that are totally unfounded, and these can just have so much impact upon their families. Yes, they usually win the cases, but the cost is so high, both emotionally and financially. So if the Attorney General can come up with a mechanism to offer both legal protection as well as indemnification when these officers are performing their duties in accordance with their official duties, that could be a big deal. But you know what goes hand in hand with legal protection, Jan, is training. And I was so excited that this order actually showed and talked about giving training. When budgets are cut, training's out. So if the federal government can come forward and give funding as well as additional training to state and local officers, that's going to be a really, really big deal.
Yeah. And you also mentioned the Attorney General because you like that she's also been ordered to review all pending federal legal disputes between communities and law enforcement. Tell us more about these consent decrees and how much they can cost.
Oh, Jan, this is such a sore subject with me. These cost so much money. And I'm so happy that the Attorney General has been tasked to look at these and either modify them, rescind them, or end them. What are they? They're agreements between the courts and a department in a city based upon an investigation conducted by the Department of Justice. And that's a story for another day. But what happens, they enter into these agreements for, quote, reform. Well, that sounds good. The problem is there is no incentive for them to end. The court will appoint monitors. Monitors come with a team. The team is very expensive. Their money comes from these consent decrees where they monitor the actions of the police department. So there is no incentive for these monitors to ever say, yes, Department X, you are in compliance. Take Los Angeles, for example, 12 years and $60 million it took. And there was no way it took that long for a department to go through this agreement and, quote, reform. So I'm so happy that Pam Bondi is going to be looking at this and hopefully put an end to these because they're just so expensive and they literally handcuff a police department.
There was also mention of using federal task forces to help local and state police departments combat crime. You made use of this when you were superintendent of the Chicago PD, also when I was there. How did that work out for you?
Oh, I love task forces. They're so effective. And why? Why is that? When I first read this order, I started thinking about the 90s when we developed Safe Street task forces, and they were really effective. But why was that? Well, you bring all the resources of the federal government and you combine them with the street knowledge of the police officers. So it's a very effective crime-fighting team. As a benefit, when you get to the prosecutions, you can then negotiate with the defendant. Do you want to go state? Do you want to go federal? And there's an advantage and disadvantage to both. State is a shorter period of time, but usually closer to home. Federal, much safer facility, but you're going to serve a longer sentence and you're going to be far away. But a side benefit to this, which I think is the human element, is the friendship and the trust that's built between the officers and the agents working together. When I was in Houston and Phoenix, all these guys played on the same softball team together. They interacted with the family. In fact, in Chicago, on the FBI's Violent Crime Task Force, it was usually a police officer who'd been there for 15 years teaching the new agent the ropes when he came to that squad. So I love task forces. I think it's the best way to really address crime.
And this is not one size fits all. As we know, there will be extenuating circumstances with every department as to how this will apply specifically to their jurisdiction. But you see a problem with the funding side of all this.
Yeah, executive orders are great. They command the different agencies in the government to do things, but there's no funding. And you look at areas of training. I know right now the FBI's budget does not allow for training for state and local. So I hope that the Congress will add additional funds to allow the training to take place and allow the federal government to help state and local agencies. They need it, and this is the way to really help them out. So always the funding issue, Jan.
Right, always about the money. Former head of the Chicago PD and retired FBI special agent in charge, Jody Weeks. Always great to see you, sir. Hope you have a great week. Thanks for joining us.
Hold the hell on. Just wait 1 minute. You mean to tell me as of yesterday, we have 90 days until this person in the presidential office decides to enact martial law? Underneath Section 4 of this executive order, it says using national security assets for law and order. Within 90 days of the date of this order, which is April 28, 2025, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Defense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security and the heads of agencies as appropriate, shall increase the provision of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security law enforcement. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security assets, training, non-lethal capabilities, and personnel can most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. So martial law, bitch. Y'all mean to tell me that y'all did all of this saying that the Democrats were the same as the Republicans, saying that Kamala Harris was not better than Donald Trump. And in the first 100 days, this man has rolled back rights and now is thinking about enacting martial law within 90 days of yesterday. I get it. Y'all hate black people so much. We get it. For 400. Hold the hell on. Just wait 1 minute. You mean to tell me as of hold the hell on. Just wait one was not better than Donald Trump. And in the first 100 days, this man has rolled back rights and now is thinking about enacting martial law within 90 days of yesterday. I get it. Y'all hate black people so much. We get it. For 400 years, y'all haven't got over it. For some reason, our very existence bothers you. We get it. We know y'all don't have better hobbies. Like our existence is the bane of your existence. We know that y'all can't help but hate us to the point that you will disenfranchise yourself just so that we will not have any type of progress. We get it. Y'all don't like us. We fine with that. It's a personal problem for you. But the fact that y'all put somebody in office because your hatred for us is so strong, y'all would really suffer just so we would suffer. That is insane. Y'all would rather run this country into the ground than to ever see another black leader in this country. That is wild. Racism is illogical to the point that people hate other people that they would harm themselves just so other people could not get ahead. Y'all really sending us into a dictatorship because y'all hate us. And you would rather suffer than to see our progress. This is insane. Hold the hell on. Just wait 1 minute.
I think one of the executive orders that Trump signed today might be his most sinister one yet, and that's really saying something. I'm Eliza Orlins, career public defender for 15 years in Manhattan, and I have to break this down for you. So today's executive order is called Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and Protect Innocent Citizens. Trump is acting like safe communities are the impetus behind this and empowering law enforcement to firmly police dangerous criminal behavior. But that's not at all the reality of what this executive order does. It's not at all the reality of what this executive order does. All the reality of what this enforcement to firmly police dangerous criminal behavior. But that's not at all the reality of what this executive order does. And empowering law enforcement to firmly police dangerous criminal behavior. But that's not at all the reality of what this executive order does. In this executive order, he's not just unleashing the police, which he is doing, but he's dismantling reforms, criminalizing equity, and militarizing local law enforcement all at once. First, Trump's order frames progressive reforms as the real problem, things like anti-bias training and limits on use of force, as opposed to police misconduct and brutality. He says cities need to unleash aggressive policing and stop harmful and illegal equity policies. He wants to replace any efforts that make policing fairer or more accountable and replace them with unchecked force. In Section 2, this order creates a legal defense fund for officers who might get sued based on their official actions. Meaning, if a cop kills someone, don't worry, the federal government will defend them, no questions asked. Section 3 basically guts consent decrees, and those are the agreements that the DOJ uses to fix unconstitutional policing. So if a police department was found guilty of unconstitutional abuse, this order says set them free. Section 4 of this order says that they should increase the provision of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions. What does that mean? It means your neighborhood may become a war zone. They're going to militarize the Section 5 is the most dangerous of them all. It says that the Department of Justice should prioritize prosecution of any state or local officials who willfully direct the obstruction of criminal law prohibiting law enforcement from carrying out their necessary duties, or who engage in discrimination or civil rights violations under the guise of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This literally means they could prosecute local elected officials, governors, mayors, city council members, whoever they felt was not doing the thing that Trump wanted them to do. This is so dangerous. This is not public safety. This is not rule of law. This is political revenge. This is authoritarianism. This is terrifying. And then finally, Section 6, that Homeland Security Task Force protecting American people against invasion, to coordinate and advance the objectives of this order. And this will help the Trump administration crack down on communities within this country who Trump doesn't like. This is not about public safety. This is about control. This is about militarization and expansion of policing. This is about silencing reform. This is potentially about Trump laying the groundwork to invoke something that strongly resembles martial law. We have to fight back because the stakes could not be higher. So if you found this breakdown helpful, please make sure you're following me here and on all platforms for more, and leave questions in the comments if you have them. Thanks for being here. I think one of the
Okay, he is getting ready to put you Americans in a position you never thought you would have been in. Okay, and he's going to lead you all to World War III. Okay, this guy, he got everybody pissed off. You see, and these are the times that we're in. Okay, as we're going to get into first, Trump's latest executive order, okay, would shield police from accountability, creating danger for those most at risk. Okay, and ultimately we know Esau Edom is hitting his victim card. Okay, they're all around the internet pulling out their statistics, and when you see these Edomites start to pull out their statistics and tap into their, scientific racism, okay, they are getting ready to wage war. And we've been warning you of these things, okay? And now we know they feel the pressure of the prophets. They're being outed everywhere you look. The small hats are getting scrutinized. Okay, so now they're getting ready to go to their final bag, which is their sword. They got these robots, ready to help them and assist them. Okay, they're getting ready to wage war on the people to root out any opposing threat against what they're doing. Okay? And remember, we believe through the Spirit, which this is not a doctrine, that this is Nero Trump, okay, back in the flesh. Okay, and we'll get into a little bit of what he did, all right, when he was an emperor. Now, I wanted to start here, although this guy is simple as hell, okay, remember when Donald Trump waged war on the northern tribes, okay, deporting, the talks of deporting, snatching some of them children from their family, just going all out doing his thing, right? Judah was on the internet, because we know that there's a long lasting, beef between Judah and Ephraim, okay? The southern kingdom, Judah, has a beef with the northern kingdom, Ephraim, and vice versa. The only way that fire is going to be quenched is through coming up under Yahweh Shai, which we have peace with each other, okay, in this doctrine, okay? But you remember, Judah was talking a lot of mess about the northern kingdom, right? Well, Judah didn't never think that laws would be passed so your ass can be deported in your own, what you think is your own country, okay? So let's listen to a little bit of this. and we'll through the Spirit move forward, because this man is getting ready to bring all out tyranny. Unrighteous decrees are getting ready to be passed. Okay? Let's get Isaiah 10. Okay? And remember, this chapter goes into the history where Yahushua was persecuted by Herod, who's what? Linked to the red dragon. Herod was an Edomite. The red dragon represented the ancient Roman power structure of the Jews, all right, known as the followers of Mashiach, the followers of the Messiah, man. You don't think that same thing is going to happen in this time? So you Israelites keep playing. You see that? You keep playing, man. Because our accuser is being cast down by this word. Okay, Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
Folks, on April 28th, 2025, Donald Trump released an executive order that is extremely problematic for the African American community, especially African American men. It is an executive order that essentially unleashes cops on black men. It is horrible.
And a lot of you U.S. citizens too. But we know what the target is. We know who these people are. Again, the seed of the serpent would have, all right, enmity with the seed of the woman. The seed of the woman represents Israel. The seed of the serpent represents the seed of the wicked, all right, the Edomites. We saw that friction during the time of Cain and Abel, okay? And you read on down Cain's lineage, they were at war with the sons of God. We don't think it's going to happen again? The answers to why there's so much friction between you Israelites and these Edomites is what? Written in the Bible. You try to reason your way, you try to use science to figure it out. No, it's spiritual. Okay, I don't give a damn how many fights these Edomites go to and show support. They hate you. Okay, especially you calling and being at one with your power and not worshiping him. Remember Haman in the book of Esther got mad? Why did he get mad? He got mad because Mordecai didn't bow to his ass. Now, through everything they're doing, they're trying to get you to bow to their image. But if you don't bow to their image, okay, they're gonna get rid of your ass. That's their plan. And the people who are left, you're gonna be issued that mark. Okay.